Welcome to Scrum Dynamics episode 29. My name's Neil Benson and I'm on a mission to help every Microsoft customer and partner successfully use the Scrum Agile Software Development Framework to implement Microsoft business applications. Welcome to the show. Microsoft recently made the PowerApps Solution Checker generally available, which means the feature now shows up in the PowerApps Admin Center. This is great if you're building PowerApps for CDS or extending any of the Dynamics 365 customer engagement apps. I mentioned on a LinkedIn post that using the PowerApps Solution Checker was now included in my team's definition of done for each sprint. I've had a few questions about how a sprint can have a definition of done. Lots of PowerApps and Dynamics 365 teams practicing Scrum have a definition of done for a story, but how can you be done with a sprint? My teams have a definition of done at 3 different levels: for stories, for sprints, and for releases. A definition of done is our commitment to the product owner that when we say we're done, here is what we mean. The product owner can give us feedback on those criteria, but the development team owns the definition. To show you what I mean, here are some of my examples from recent projects. The definition of done for a user story. Number 1, the development is complete and unit tested. If the story involved custom code, then the unit tests have been written and passed where appropriate. But at the very least, the developer has verified that the feature meets the acceptance criteria. Number 2, the feature has been deployed to a test instance, and the developer has tested it to make sure it works as expected. So you can't just say, it works on my machine. Number 3, the customization has been reviewed by another developer. If your team practices pair programming or mob programming, then it's naturally reviewing all customizations. If not, then get another developer to review your customizations. This has got 2 benefits. The quality of your customization improves as another developer makes recommendations for enhancing it. Even just explaining how your feature works to someone else can help you find improvements in your own work. Second, another developer becomes familiar with your feature, so there's always at least 2 people familiar with how each feature works. It's been documented. Documentation criteria vary widely from team to team. Some of my teams document the feature's design in a wiki page. Others have written a release note so that the business stakeholders understand the impact of a new or enhanced feature. Others have taken on responsibility for updating end-user documentation. That might be a user guide or a training video. It's passed all its acceptance criteria. This step usually involves the feature undergoing a manual functional test in a test instance by somebody who wasn't involved in the development. Ideally, that person's a professional tester who's an expert at finding ways to break things, but it could also be an analyst, a super user, or another developer. And finally, it's been reviewed by the product owner. My teams always review the feature with the product owner well before the sprint review. We might even do it twice, once just after development is complete to get early feedback, then we make a few changes and review it again after it's been tested. So those are 6 good criteria for a definition of done for a user story. You can also take the definition of done for product backlog items from the Scrum Guide and apply that to sprints and releases. Now in Scrum, a sprint is done when it's over. It's a time-boxed event. If you're running a 2-week sprint, then it's done when those 2 weeks are up, regardless of whatever definition of done your team is applying. Having said that, I think it can be a useful practice to have a definition of done for a sprint. Here's an example definition of done for a recent sprint. We run the PowerApps Solution Checker on our development solution at the end of every sprint. The PowerApps Solution Checker recently became generally available. That means it should be available for all CDS for apps administrators. Hopefully that's you. You run it against a solution and then you receive a report highlighting any issues that might exist in your solution. It checks against hundreds of best practices so that you can improve the performance, maintainability, extensibility, or upgradability of your customizations. Occasionally it reports false negatives, but the quality of the rule set is improving all of the time. We also have a documentation criterion in our definition of done for the sprint, and that's to compile our as-built solution customizations into a document. This includes all the entities, fields, relationships, forms, views, and other solution components such as charts, workflows, security roles, and system settings. There's the metadata document generator in the XRM toolbox, which is a free tool, but I prefer Snapshot for Dynamics 365 from XRM coaches. The product increment is available to the users. You might be releasing a solution into production at the end of each sprint. That's definitely something to aspire to. In my current project, the product increment is shipped into QA once or twice a day during the sprint, and then into lots of additional non-production sandboxes at the end of each sprint. You can also have a definition of done for a release as well. It's a checklist for everything your team must do before deploying a major release into production, but that's probably a topic for another time. What does your team include in its definition of done? Do you use definition of done for sprints as well as product backlog items? Leave me a comment wherever you find this video or podcast posted. I'd love to know. I'm sure there are new ideas out there that you're using that I've never tried, so please share them with me and the rest of the Dynamics community. I just have a quick announcement for you. A lot of questions I get are about daily scrums for Dynamics 365 projects. I've been practicing Scrum for over 10 years. Sometimes I'm helping multiple teams, so I get to attend more than one daily scrum every day. That's at least 2,000 daily scrums, or 30,000 minutes, which is almost 21 straight days in stand-ups. So I've had a few opportunities to practice, to experiment, to find out what works and what doesn't. If you've ever wondered whether your Dynamics 365 team is getting the most out of its daily scrum, then I have a new Daily Scrum Challenge for you. It's a short quiz that'll question your daily Scrum practice and give you a rating. Then, if you want 10 ideas for how to take your daily Scrum to the next level, then you can join the Daily Scrum Challenge. In the challenge, you'll get one idea each day for 10 days. And if you're into inspection and adaptation, which I hope you are, then you can experiment with the idea in your next daily scrum and reflect on how it went in your team's next retrospective. To take the quiz, visit customary.com/dailyscrum. There's no email address required for the quiz. My mission is to help everyone use the Scrum framework to successfully implement Microsoft business applications. If you'd like to learn more about Scrum and achieve your professional Scrum Master certification from scrum.org, then visit scrum365.customary.com to join my Introduction to Scrum for Dynamics 365 course. The course features videos, worksheets, quizzes, and a practice assessment for the Professional Scrum Master certification exam. It covers the theory of Scrum, its events, roles, and deliverables, as well as the lessons I've learned through 10 years of applying Scrum to Dynamics 365 projects. That's scrum365.customary.com. Thanks very much for joining me in the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. I look forward to your comments and look forward to joining you on the next show. Thanks very much. Bye for now.